What's going on, guys? And welcome to the Comic Book Reader's Digest channel. This will be my first video of the channel and my first review of an incredible comic book I just read, The Punisher, the King of Killers, Book 1 review. So let me first off say the illustrations in this comic book is top tier. I just want to say that off the bat. Um, This actually dives deep into the backstory of Frank Castle, of who he was during his childhood. I don't think any other comic book convey um, the Punisher's childhood um, that deep as this book, if at all, because most of the Punisher comics, they always go as far as back to him being in Vietnam, and that's how he started as a soldier, and that's what kind of prone him to being violent prone and, being a beacon for justice or swift justice, you should say. And yeah, like, this was an incredible fucking book. Excuse my language. But yeah, this was an incredible read. Um, I didn't think I didn't think this Punisher, to put it this way, I haven't read such an epic Punisher comic book since the Punisher when he gets sent. He uses Dr. Reed Richards' time machine. He goes to the Baxter Building. Reed Richards sends him back in time to fight Al Capone. That was one of the most epic story arcs of Punisher I ever read, as far as the Punisher series go. But this one kind of over. Yeah, it kind of it definitely out it definitely outshined the Al Capone story. This one, he's fighting a much powerful villain and an iconic villain at that. Um, you'll be surprised, and once you read the book, because I don't want to spoil it for those who are big Punisher comic book fans or fans of comics in general. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but he fights an interesting foe in this one. One thing I could kind of spoil because it kind of showed you right off the back. He joins the Hand, which was the League of Assassins. Is basically the it's basically the Marvel versions of the Ra's al Ghul, Brotherhood of Assassins type of queen. But the Hand was where Elektra was born. Punisher was trained and fought against. They're like a dark organization group of ninjas, and he joins them. So the point of the story, he joins them, and he thinks that they are with him as far as doing swift justice, killing all the criminals and stuff of that nature. But then later on, he kind of it's kind of interesting how, like, and when you read it, you're gonna find out how he was able to get so manipulated into joining them, which I found that very interesting how they did that. That was pretty sick. Um, and yeah, it's basically him joining the Hand. They go on this big killing spree, killing all the criminals in the name of good. So he thinks, and then uh, a huge twist comes into play, and then I don't want to spoil too much, but you'll find out once you read it. But I'm telling you, I'm recommending this book to any and everybody who's a fan of the Punisher, who's a fan of comic books in general, to read this book. I'm telling you, read it, um, and buy it too, because I'm telling you, this is one of those books that's gonna be one of those history comic books that's gonna be worth a lot of money down the line. Trust me on this. So go to your local comic book stores, Barnes and Nobles, wherever you want to go. Pick this book up and hold on to it, or buy two copies, one for reading and one for collecting. Or I'll do you one even better. Go to your local library, because they have this in the library. read this first and then buy the actual comic book for your collecting. Because I'm telling you right now, mark my words, I say within 5 or 10 years, this book is gonna be worth some loot. This book's gonna be worth a bag. Trust me. So out of a 5-star rating on the book, I'm gonna give this story and everything, I'm gonna give this a 5. Yeah, I know it's my first true video, but I gotta give this a 5 because this was such an epic read, and I was very immersed um, in the book. I was immersed with the story. You know, I like the characters in this. I love the characters, the villains, everybody, especially the main villain in this. When you find out who that is, you are going to blow your top. I'm telling you, I'm like, oh, cause I'm telling you, the reaction I got when I found out who Punisher was really going against, or who wanted to go against the Punisher, I should say, because he actually challenged the Punisher. So when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, holy shit. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you a little hint. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm gonna give you a hint. But if I give you this hint, it may spoil it, but not. All I'm gonna say is this particular character was also in the DC universe, but he's not a. I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm gonna just say he was in DC. He was also a DC. You could say he was more of a cameo villain. So I hope that doesn't give too much away. But yeah, he was a cameo villain in DC. So for him to be in DC and Marvel, that's pretty dope. I like how they did. That's pretty dope. So also there's a certain Marvel. Um, not saying well, it's Marvel, but there are a certain cameo. Certain Marvel hero plays a cameo in this, but he comes at the very end of the book. Like it's like okay, now they setting up for book 2, so I can't wait for that. You know, what I mean, when he comes in, I don't, it's book 1, so it's not really spoiling it. Spoiling you guys to know that book 2 is coming out. Book 2 is definitely gonna come out because it's book 1. But yeah, he doesn't come to the very, very end. Sad to say. I wish he kind of came into the middle, but I mean, it was still decent. Cause I think I don't know. Maybe that's why they had him in the end. Cause he would have came in the middle, or kind of would have took the story in a different direction. But I like how they kept the pace with the story. It wasn't too convoluted. It wasn't like a whole bunch of things going on and too many plot holes. Like everything was pretty consistent. So with that, that's why I'm giving it such a high score. I was completely immersed in this book. So yeah, that's my review of The Punisher, the King of Killers, Book 1. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to me. This concludes the video, and welcome to the Comic Book Reader's Digest, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.